Have you ever crossed a dangerous bridge or taken a tricky route while on your train journey? If no, try these routes below that are the most dangerous train routes ever. This video will take you through the most thrilling railway routes. Let's find out what all routes are the most dangerous ones. Choppy Chennai Rameswaram Route. The island of Rameswaram, in the southeastern extremity of India, is connected to the mainland by the famous Pamban Sea Bridge. The antiquity of the bridge: it is more than 100 years old, construction of which was begun in 1914, and the fact that it is acclaimed as India's most dangerous train bridge makes it a huge draw with tourists. India's first sea bridge, it was also the longest until the opening of the Bandra-Worli Sea Link of Mumbai in 2010. Till 1988, this was the only link from Rameswaram Island to the mainland. Running parallel to the sea link is a road bridge over the Palk Strait. At first glance, the Pamban Bridge looks like any other bridge resting on concrete piers numbering 143. But look at the central section and you will see a double-leaf bascule section, almost midway, which can be raised to allow large ships and barges to pass through. It is fun to watch the two sections rising up to create a path for ships to pass through. The crossing over the Palk Strait, a distance of approximately 2 kilometers, takes only about 15 minutes with the train cruising along at a speed of 10 kilometers per hour. The sea appears a few feet below the tracks, and all around you is pristine blue water as far as the eye can see. The bridge too is only 1 meter wide, which is exciting while being scary too. Your exclamations of wonder and delight might be whipped away by the strong wind to be carried far, far away. Not only that, but because of the sea's unpredictably high winds and wild waves, the trains on this track are only permitted to travel at a top speed of 27 miles per hour. As you can imagine, this daring, seafaring design has had some serious drawbacks in the past. In 1964, the bridge survived a major cyclone that flattened Dhanushkodi, a thriving port town. The Nose of the Devil. High up in the Andes mountain range of Ecuador is a railway that was once considered to be one of the most difficult in the world to engineer and construct. And when you take a look at it, you can see exactly why. Skirting these near vertical cliffs almost 9,000 feet above sea level, the tracks of La Nariz del Diablo, or, in English, the Devil's Nose, certainly live up to their name. It is considered one of the world's most dangerous train rides. The section of Ecuador's railway, aptly titled the Devil's Nose, was responsible for some 2,000 deaths during construction and even a few gringos after that. It was a remarkable feat for a developing country to build a train system over a century ago that crossed the Andes linking Quito to Guayaquil. The Devil's Nose traverses the rocky slopes of the Andes and drops 500 meters over a course of 12 kilometers via a switchback system. The switchback track involves the train moving past a junction, stopping and then heading back down the section to the next junction and moving forward again, continuing down the mountain. The mountainside, called the Condor's Eyrie in the town of Alausi, was last section of rail needed to connect the Quito and Guayaquil lines. In 1901, this became known as the Devil's Nose because of the deaths of many workers that occurred there due to the difficulty of construction. To construct the Devil's Nose track, 3,000 Jamaicans and 1,000 Puerto Ricans were brought in. Unfortunately, so many died during construction, only about 300 stayed in Ecuador. Even though much of the rail system has deteriorated, the section of the Devil's Nose has remained well kept because it has been such an attraction for tourists. However, due to the deaths of a couple of tourists, and a few broken bones of others, they have terminated this ticket and now limit riders to the interior of the train only. Phenomenal Ferrocarril Central Andino. It takes both skill and courage to control huge locomotives laden with mineral ore as they wind up and down the Andes Mountains, making Peru possibly the toughest country in the world to be a train driver. The Ferrocarril Central Andino travels from sea level to the mines at Cerro de Pasco, one of the highest cities in any country, at 14,200 feet, 4,330 meters, above sea level. Up in the mountains, the railway tracks have few signals or even safety barriers to guard against the sheer drop. The slightest error from a driver could prove disastrous. The rear wagons of the 200 meters long train are often out of the driver's sight as the route zigzags, and its weight when fully laden with trucks and cargo can approach 2,500 tons. There is a constant fear of derailing and falling down the mountainside. The air is thinner at such high altitude and the engine can stall if it is running too slowly. Back in the late 1800s, this bridge collapsed, not once, but twice, thanks to the area's terrifying tendency to flood. The phenomenal Ferrocarril Central Andino operates between 50 and 70 freight trains a day, 2,100 to 2,200 each month. Peru has a booming mining industry, with significant investment by international mining firms, including several from China, and the production of copper, lead and zinc, all found in substantial quantities in some parts of the Andes. The Train to the Clouds. The legendary Train to the Clouds is a rail line Tren a las Nubes in Argentina. On the 217-kilometer rail line there are 29 formidable bridges, 21 tunnels, and a huge number of ascents and descents. Tourists have more than enough chances to feel an adrenaline rush. That's what has made this railroad so extremely popular. Passenger trains depart from Salta to La Polvorilla, concluding their journey at an altitude of 4,000 meters above the sea level. Construction of the unique railway that passes through the mountain ranges and the deepest canyons began in 1921. It took just under 30 years to build the railroad in that harsh terrain. The complete railway came into operation in 1948. The line has a number of interesting features, such as zigzags and spirals. Such a structure allows the trains to avoid steep grades, but because of this decision some parts of the way does not seem safe at all. Bizarre Bishwa Itama Special Trains. The Bishwa Itama, meaning Global Congregation in Bengali, is one of the largest peaceful annual gatherings of Muslims in the world that takes place in Tongi, by the banks of the river Turag, in the outskirts of Dhaka, Bangladesh. The Itama is a prayer meeting spread over 3 days, during which attending devotees take part in prayers and listen to scholars reciting and explaining verses from the Holy Quran. The number of devotees exceeds 5 million, with an estimated 20,000 to 50,000 foreign devotees. With a view to facilitating the movement of Muslim devotees of the Bishwa Itama, Bangladesh Railway has made arrangement to operate special trains in different routes of the country. The 3-day Itama, with the participation of lakhs of Muslims across the nation, occurs on the bank of the river Turag in Tongi, on the outskirts of the capital. The trains are hugely overcrowded. So much so, that devotees routinely hop on the roof, the front, or even cling onto the sides of these death-defying trains. Petrifying Pilatus Railway. This is the most steepest railway in the world, running for more than 120 years without an accident. Pilatus Railway. Pilatus Railway start from Alpnage Station near Walden, Lake Lucerne, running for half 1 hour, about 6,800 feet, arriving at the terminal Pilatus Station at the altitude of 2,132. The maximum gradient is 48 degrees. Pilatus Railway is a cog railway with the largest gradient. The speed of the train is controlled between 5 and 7 steps. It takes half an hour to climb the mountain and about 40 minutes to go down the mountain. It is worth to mention that, although Pilatus Railway looks very scary, very dangerous, but it is the most safe and durable cog railway in the world. From the first running in 1898, it has never replaced steel tracks, and no accident happened. In 1868, Queen Victoria climbing on the Pilatus Peak, and it became a popular tourist attraction soon. The local government is deeply aware of the necessity of the developing of local transportation. In 1872, the engineer Roger proposed the idea of building a railway on the mountain. However, people think it is very dangerous on the technical conditions at that time. With the invention of rail rack system, of which the train gear meshing track rack properly, things have changed. Roger designed a parallel double gear structure. The train gear is installed on the vertical axis, touching the side of the railway rail, rather than top side. Mad Maeklong Railway. 6 times a day, a train rolls right through the center of the Maeklong Railway Market. 6 times a day, vendors and buyers have 3 minutes to get out of the way. A very loud whistle gives the warning call, and everyone scrambles to move produce off the tracks, roll back awnings, and take down umbrellas before the train arrives. In fact, the market is sometimes called the umbrella pull-down market for this very reason. They have to pick up baskets of fish, beans, and bananas and move them off the tracks. In some cases, they just leave them as they know the train will clear them. As the train comes through the very narrow market lane, there is only inches to spare on each side. Maeklong Railway Market is also called the world's most dangerous market. Unfortunately, people have occasionally lost their lives, though the train moves very slowly through the market. Great Gotiek Viaduct. The Gotiek Viaduct is the highest railway bridge in Myanmar, and you can take a heart-racing ride across it as part of the 3-hour train journey from the trekking haven of Spa to the former colonial summer hideaway of Pin U Lin. The viaduct measures 689 meters, 2,260 feet, from end to end, and includes 15 towers which span 12 meters, 39 feet, along with a double tower 24 meters, 79 feet, long. The 15 towers support 10 deck truss spans of 37 meters, 121 feet, along with 6 plate girder spans 18 meters, 59 feet, long, and an approach span of 12 meters, 39 feet. Many sources have put the height of the bridge at 250 meters, 820 feet. That is supposedly a measurement to the river level as it flows underground through a tunnel at the point where it passes underneath the trestle. The true height of the bridge, as measured from the rail deck to the ground on the downstream side of the tallest tower, is 102 meters, but with all that height and no guardrails, trains have to cross this steel leviathan very carefully. Even a slight bump in the tracks could derail the entire train. Which of the mentioned railways made you want to try the most? Please comment below to let us know. Thanks for watching.